No one's saying stop that. No, what I meant was no one's saying B or whatever, right? Listen to how he says this. Listen to how he says this. What I meant was, like, what fucking delivery is that? That's so stupid. There's no interruption happening. There's no pacing. There's no flow. He's just, he's literally just talking over top. It doesn't matter. There's no communication between the characters. Fuck John Oliver. I hate him so much. I probably wouldn't hate him so much if he wasn't in this movie. His performance in this movie brings out, like, everything I hate about him. It makes me just completely dislike him as a person. Just his involvement in this movie. What I meant was... What is that? That's bullshit. That's not fair? You're right, it's not fair. That's why I laughed after I said it. I don't hate John Oliver for participating in this movie. I just think that he's probably the most annoying part of this movie.
Not actors and not actors. Sing and act.
Yeah. Like, he's not the most miscast out of the entire movie. I would say Chiwetel Ejiofor.
I miss you too.
But he's the most annoying performance. What I meant was... This is just such fucking garbage. It's so trash and bad and shit. The pacing is just like, you ruined the whole thing. It's like they gave him the lines without playing the song. That's what it sounds like. It's probably more to do with direction than the acting, quite honestly. There's no way they gave their actors any real direction when Beyonce was recording from, like, her home, and, like, Chiwetel Ejiofor gave zero character to Scar. So, like, you can't expect that there was any direction, really. How is this, like... It's, like, this is... Oh, my God, it's so fucking lame. It's so fucking lame. I hate it so much. I hate it. Like, you can't expect... Oh, my God, it's so lame. Like, how can you even pretend to be, like, fun or exciting in any of these scenes? How can you even pretend? Jon Favreau, you fucking suck. You actually fucking suck. You actually fucking suck. Like... It's so lame. I can't. It's just like this. These were your ideas. Just run around in the watering hole and that's it. Life completely fucking lifeless. Where are you running? Just to show up on this rock for the end of the, like, this is like the kind of staging that, like, a 10-year-old would make. This is legitimately the kind of staging that a 10-year-old would create. Just run in one direction, and then at the end you're on a fucking rock, and that's it. Terrible, terrible stage. There's nothing interesting about it. Run underneath a couple of... When they say spotlight, the giraffes move, and the sun is, like, there, and it's like a spotlight. And then they're running, and they're all running the same direction for a very long time, because that's visually interesting. Just everybody just running forwards for a while. That's visually interesting. It's like a documentary. It's like a documentary, guys. Like, how... There's nothing about his expression that shows that he's These two are supposed to be be singing right now. They look like they're mad. They look like that fucking cat meme face going like, or whatever. They don't look like they're singing. What kind of fucking stupid face is that? So mad. It's so lame.
The end was also really bad.
It's just so fucking terrible. I hate it so much. What is, like, this is just the worst idea for, like, what you wanted your film to be. Like, nobody understands but you, Joe. What is your deal? Why does this look so much Why does this look so much better? This is the 94 Blu-ray. It's literally just the opening. Look, and it, like, the sparkles come in. The sparkles fades. It's like a 3D render. It looks pretty high quality, and the sparkles come in, and the title fades. Walt Disney picked. Now look at this. This is the 2019. What is this? What is this? Why does this look so shitty? This might as well be like Comic Sans here. There's like no sparkle. Like what? How did they downgrade the Disney intro? Yeah, of course the original, the Blu-ray is not from 1990. Of course. I'm just wondering why it looks shittier in the 2019 one. Why does this look like such trash? How can I? It's like
You see this shit?
2D animated or something, which is weird because like you killed 2D animation and decided to make
I'm
this.
so glad I set up my trash.
Vintage? Like what? What is that? That title fade looks so bad. What is that? Why is that on the 2019 one? The fade doesn't even have like the title doesn't even have like an outline. This looks a lot better. Even the sound is better. They modernized the movie and then like retroed the.
Is this supposed to replicate the 90s or another older?
Yeah, exactly, right? What is it supposed to be? And why? This is like the last movie you should be doing a retro intro for. This is the opposite of retro. This is not the movie. Like, what? Why would. What? That doesn't fit. It just looks stupid.
I love Disney so much.
Dude, Pride rock!
Wow, dude, Pride rock! Dude, Pride rock! Wow! Pride rock! I hate this so much. I hate it. I hate it so much. What the fuck is that? Simba! Why would you deliver the line that way? Why would you say that? the fuck, Jon Favreau? How do you justify that? What about, like, how is that an improvement in any way? You didn't explain this once. I don't think you explained once in your commentary why he says, Simba. Why? Why is he so scary now? Simba. Why? He sounds like an enemy alien villain in some first-person shooter. He sounds like the grunts in Halo 4. Like Simba! Why would you say that? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. It doesn't make any fucking sense. John! John, why did you do this? Simba! When they released, like, what is his character supposed to be? Is he supposed to be scary? Like when they released, what the fuck? Did nobody pay attention the entire time they watched the movie? The people that liked it, or did they just zone out and remember the old movie? Serious, I'm not kidding. Did they just look at these scenes and be like, that's bringing up a part of my childhood very vaguely, and then just leave the theater content? I think that's what happened. I genuinely, unironically think that that's what happened to the people that actually enjoyed this movie. Name me one person that enjoyed this movie that didn't watch the original. That's not retarded. Like, come on. Literally, who other than Jon Favreau wanted all of the characters in this movie to be completely expressionless? How does it benefit the film to have less character? If you took that, like, exact same clip in dialogue and put, like, scary music over it, it'd be like, holy fuck, this creature's gonna, like, kill everybody. Literally, like... That's, like, diabolical. It's a diabolical laughter. It's scary. It really, like, I'm struggling to understand how this is any different from Surf's Up, except they were in VR. It's literally what Surf's Up did. Like 12 years before this movie. I'm struggling to understand. I'm genuinely struggling to understand why this is such a technological breakthrough when another movie did the exact same thing 12 years before, except they didn't have an HTC Vive. And that's about it. Like, what is so groundbreaking about this? It's so funny watching Jon Favreau in VR. Watching these old fucks in VR. I love how they're all in, like, swivel chairs, too. It's like, I'm directing! What is this?
So what we're reaching.
This is like less... The animation studies, this is like...
In terms of what we're reaching, in terms of level.
Casitas wares, if you have coin.
You see, like, the real footage up above, and it's, like, just so much... Like, what are they doing? Just the ears?
In terms of what we're reaching, in terms of level of performance and level
Just the ears? That's it?
detail in these characters and just in terms of skin movement and muscle. You know, it's pushing it all to the next level.
They had all of this expression of, like, the real animals, and then they were just like, yeah, the muscles. The muscles of, like, their ears.
In terms of what we're reaching, in terms of level of performance and
Like, There are 0 characters in the entire film that had as much expression as any of these samples, any of these references that they used. Like,
reaching in terms of level of performance and
what
level
were
of
you
detail.
focusing on?
We have different rigs involved. We get into all the details.
I don't remember a single moment in the film where like this much expression was shown ever. Was that a deleted scene?
Previous animation, but final animation. And we have different rigs involved. We get into all the details.
Like, was this in the movie?
Details of perform.
What scene is that? That seems like more expression than was ever in the movie. Honest, what scene was this?
Get into all the details.
This doesn't look like a shot from. I have to just section this out, right? And see if I see it anywhere in the movie.
We get into all the details.
Like, why is this in your tech demo thing, right? Wow. So cool. There's such detailed textures, because that's what's important in a movie. It's just detailed textures.
You're taking an incredibly antiseptic approach and telling one of the most emotional stories that we have in our tradition, using these tools. To me, that dichotomy, that underlying tension.
Why are you even talking about it being an emotional story if you wanted to make a fucking documentary, you piece of shit asshole cunt? I get it, I'm getting overly emotional over this. I just don't understand what... I don't understand what he's doing. The way he justifies it doesn't make any sense.
Antiseptic digital medium and telling one of the most emotional stories that we have in our tradition.
Why even use the word emotion? Why are you tackling an emotional story if you wanted to make a documentary and that's it? If you didn't want emotion, you literally removed emotion from the film. You went into the film and said, there's emotion, there's emotion, there's emotion, don't want that. Let's get rid of all of the emotion. That's what you did. Why are you using this word? Why are you using this word in the behind the scenes footage? You don't like emotion. You clearly didn't want emotion because you removed it. You literally handpicked the emotion out of the film. You intentionally removed emotion from the film. Why are you saying that word even?
An incredibly antiseptic digital medium and telling one of the most emotional stories that
Not anymore!
tradition using these tools.
This is so this is live action, isn't it? This is live action movie. You guys see how this live action movie was made? Fuck everybody. I hate everything. Stop showing clips from the good movie. You don't give a shit about the good movie. What was the VR component doing? I mean, okay, so Surf's Up did the exact same thing. Let's have the Surf's Up crew explain it from 12 years before The Lion King.
The technique that basically do motion capture on the camera and shoot live, real-time camera moves. With this camcorder, you can walk up to the penguins or follow them or zoom in on them or whatever. And every movie they're making with the camera, when you're walking, bouncing up and down, those motions are being captured in real time.
That's literally what they were doing on Lion King 2019, and they're treating it like a groundbreaking technological achievement, even though they did the exact same thing 12 years beforehand in Surf's Up. Without the HTC Vive headset, for sure. Without the headset, but the exact same thing. And I'm struggling to understand how this is some sort of like a technological breakthrough, this leap forward that Disney and Jon Favreau and all the crew are claiming it is. Just being like, wow, nobody's ever done this before. We're really shaping the way that people make movies. Fuck off! They did the same thing 12 years ago. But they just didn't, they didn't have the HTC Vive logo. Like, what? Oh.
Well, people often ask
It's
me
so, it's literally the same thing. And I mean, yeah, of course Surf's Up did it better because, like, the intention was clear. In Surf's Up, You don't have to watch the behind-the-scenes footage to know that they were trying to make a mockumentary. In The Lion King 2019, nobody knew that he was trying to make it look like a documentary unless you listened to him talking in the promotional footage. People just watched it being like, yeah, this is shot-for-shot Lion King. Nobody understood that he wanted to make a documentary. Nobody but Jon Favreau knew that that's what the movie was trying to be. Like, you have to watch the supplementary material to understand what he was trying to do. Surf's Up, it was clear without watching the supplementary material.
I guess the best answer is it's both.
It's actually considered a live action film.
Really?
Jon Favreau is fucking
The
insane.
film says that he didn't consider the remake to be an animated movie because of how the director incorporated VR techniques that fall into the rules of traditional live action filmmaking.
It's a new genre, and I think we need
Yeah, exactly. And like this part too, where it's like, it's a live action movie now because we incorporated real camera movements. So like, is Surf's Up a live action movie? Like what? Live action, apparently.
Wow. Dude, Pride rocks. Wow. Dude, Pride rocks.
Wow. Dude, Pride rock.
Wow. Dude, Pride rocks.
So stupid.
I'm living my childhood.
I don't even have to see the whole movie, and I'm already in love with it.
I love Disney so much.
Everything just makes me mad. Just mad. Everything just makes me so mad.
You consider this a live action film or not?
I do believe it's a live action film.
This is the live action version of The Lion King.
It's trying to replicate the animals. Yes, this is live action.
Throughout the film, they give.
You consider this a live action film or not?
I do believe it's a live action film.
This is the live action version of The Lion King.
It's trying to replicate the animals. Yes, this is live action.
It's quite literally not live action. It's by definition. It's quite literally not live action. It's not. That's not what it is. What do you? If you could you imagine being asked the question, is The Lion King 2019 a live action film? And this is what you like you're genuinely being asked this question and this is your genuine answer. Could you imagine?
Thanks again for watching. Special thanks to my $5 and up patrons. The Lemonade Warrior,
You can manage your team's work easily with Monday.com. Just go to Monday.com and start tracking any project or workflow in minutes. Yeah, minutes. What? You don't believe me because I'm an actor? Here, I'll show.
Now, part of we could have.
Did this make money? It made shit tons of money. It's the highest grossing animated film ever. It made like $1 billion. What's really funny is like something that I only noticed like during the editing process here, and this is a point that I'm gonna bring up later in the review, is Jon Favreau is literally treating this film like a Marvel movie. He's literally doing that. So you look at like the shot of Rafiki being like, oh, my lightsaber. Like the implication here when he's doing this shit, what he's expecting right here is like a crowd cheering reaction. That's what he's going for here. He's like and he's just expecting like, woo, he's got a stick bag, like that's his signature thing, woo.
Draw session, baby.
In the same
We in.
So, look at the comparison here. So we see Mufasa's introduction in the original film is literally just him in the background going like Scar. Yeah, this is his introduction. Foot, paw, drop him, and that's his introduction, right? To this scene anyway, even though he was already at the beginning. And then in this film, literally just treats it like a Marvel movie. Again, expecting some sort of like uproarious.
Thank you.
plot.
It's a commission, so
Listen to what they do with the music.
it won't be mine for long. But it'll have a great home. And I'll be posting it, obviously, the finished piece, so.
He's literally treating it like a Marvel movie, like, woo! Mufasa! Even though he was in the scene just before, this isn't the first time that he's in the movie. He was in the scene before this in the intro. But it's literally like, yeah, he's treating it like fucking Endgame characters. Like, the fucking music is so obnoxious. Woo! Woo! I remember Mufasa. I remember! It's Mufasa! I remember Mufasa. He was just in the last scene. Like,
Thank you. Yes. I mean,
literally just treating it like a Marvel
you gotta try.
Nobody gives a
I always try my best to put as much detail. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does.
sequence. Crazy animation. Like, this was actually groundbreaking for the time. Like, this was actually crazy. The music is so good in this part, and it's just so butchered. Here's another thing that I'm going to be talking about in the review. So, the music throughout this scene is very purposefully composed, and you can hear on the beats of the song.
A little bit. A little bit. I like some of H.P. Lovecraft. What I always found funny about him is that he's like, he was before kind of like, you know, we had so much visual stimulation. So like the way he kind of described a lot of his crazy stuff, like he kind of just, he was like, this is a scary monster. And everybody was like, what's it look like? And he's like, oh, you don't want to know. So he's very vague about it. And that kind of, I think, sparked a lot of imagination. But I do love a lot of H.P. Lovecraft's ideas. Terrible guy, but really awesome. Really like a founding father of kind of cosmic horror.
Is meant to complement the visual of them going down from this angle, right? It's like there's not really any of that in the remake, from what I remember. So you like hear the same cues of the song, but there's like nothing visual to back it up. It's really weird. Just like random visuals.
He probably was. I mean, considering how he made it such like a legendary thing of myth and legend. You know, this god creature with an octopus face. I mean, he probably was afraid of the ocean.
It just feels so much less purposeful. It's like the shots are just coming out randomly.
Yeah.
Simba! It's like... Simba! I'll find him! What is this one shot of the jump? This shot that lasts...
I don't know though.
13 frames.
High fantasy or dark fantasy? Well, I'll also ask you. I don't know. What do you prefer? Also, I prefer. I think high fantasy, if anything. Weirdly enough, I do. I do like dark. Like I like darkness in my high fan. Like you can have darkness in your high fantasy, but I think dark fantasy might be a little bit more narrow. But I love high fantasy because high fantasy you can just do so much.
So Zazu never gets knocked out. He just says, I'll help them, you get the pride. And then, like, Scar's entire defense was like, I didn't get to the gorge in time. And then if Zazu literally just talked with any of the characters once between now and the end of the movie, then they would have known that Scar killed Mufasa. Literally the only thing that had to have been done was Zazu quite honestly just communicating with any of the characters between this point and the end of the film. Why does he look happy? I guess the father's climbing up at this point.
Yeah, I think when you do it right, when you do fantasy right, like any kind of dark fantasy, any kind of high fantasy, like you have to do it right. You know, you can't just like just make it. You know, you can't just be like, whatever, this works. You know, like if you do it right, you do it right, and it works so well. So, you know, to me, I generally prefer high fantasy for the sake of like any of my storytelling. But you know.
It's like a meow. I don't believe anything you're saying as a character.
To the older film technique, there's a nostalgia that I feel for the original because it's
Thank you.
the most successful 2D animated film. The sophistication, the audience of what they want, just very visual. Moved on from that, so anything 2D is being made from this.
I usually do sketches. It's generally about 95% of the time I do sketches before I draw an outline and do the colors and stuff, because really, I mean, you want to know where you're going, you want to know what you're doing with what you got, so
Only existing for nostalgia? Sounds like you're fucking projecting. Like, what a weird thing to say. Like, well, 2D movies are
you know, it's like I always love to just do an outline, and it's always fun to do an outline too. Generally, like you do an outline and it's like a new idea, something exciting.
They need to like, the new conflict is like Andy makes a cum jar. He gets a cum jar, and the only character he puts in there is Mr. Potato Head. I'm just looking at the skies here. I'm gonna like compare. Yeah, look at how much better this. Oh my god. Look at how much more like clouds and
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's if you can do it, sweet. And I do it once in a while. Like a lot of times, I'll do ballpoint pen drawings and just kind of like, you know, don't think about it and go for it.
it's like, what are you looking at?
But
First bit.
you know, if I'm gonna draw something like this, I'm gonna go in and like do colors and do, you know, all this other crap that I do with it. I mean, you kind of want to like be able to have an idea. So that's why sketching is fun, because it's like,
Comparison.
yeah, oh yeah, you gotta have confidence. You gotta have confidence no matter what, you know, and that's good that you help yourself like get there. 'Cause I know lots of artists who don't use sketches and it works for them, and they're freaking masters. believe it's Kim Jong Ji. He is a master draftsman. Does no sketch, no nothing, and he can just illustrate some of the best work and have the best kind of perspective. It's insane. I don't have that. I try to utilize different aspects to bring my stuff to life. But that's what's beautiful about it.
It doesn't understand the original in any way. Look at this sky.
It really is cool. It's so like, it's so nifty and dirty and weird and fun, and it's like just ugh. He's a master, and it's, you know, my best take from him, from a lot of people, was that like, if you try to do what he does, you know, it's not good. You learn bad habits, so you got to start at the right pace, you know, and that's where I took a step back and was like, okay, I want to keep drawing with, you know, sketches and learn how to do I mean, my drawings are definitely interesting. I think his drawings definitely are bursting with personality. It's crazy. A lot of the stuff that he does is like insanely, like, just there's so much going on sometimes. It depends. Like, he can draw what I draw in like 2 minutes. But, you know, it's all in the eye of the beholder as far as I'm concerned. You know, I've drawn things that I'm not proud of and I don't like, and then I post them anyway, and then people like gush over them, and I'm just confused. And that's okay, because some people, they like certain things the way they like certain things. There's not anything wrong with liking art that, you know, other people might not exactly like. There's nothing wrong with any of that.
First page of Google search results for this African sky. And John Favreau's argument is like, it's just not realistic.
Listen, I was bad at color too. Like, I'm telling you straight up, as somebody who really was afraid to use color when I was starting out, and when I was doing, like, kind of improving, like, I did all black and white pieces, you know. I did all, like, just no color, no nothing, because I was afraid. So if you're using color and you don't know how to use it, and you're, you know, like, you're doing more than I did when I was starting. That's for sure. So just keep at it. Like, don't worry about being bad at it. You know, it comes along. There's plenty of resources for how colors work if you need to know about it. A lot of my best learning, though, was just from, like, just saying, yeah, fuck it, let's do this.
And meanwhile, John's like, you can't have the skies look good. Thank you. Yeah, The Revenant has some documentary. What's really funny is, like, we mentioned The Revenant, we mentioned Brokeback Mountain, and then some shots from my music video. Every single one of those was filmed in Alberta, Canada, because there's very beautiful skies in Alberta, Canada, so you get a lot of that. However, it is still possible to get that in Africa.
I'm gonna call it live action. I guess it's not animated, so if you have no other term for it, yes, it's a live action.
But what did she think was happening? Did she think that people were walking on all fours in motion capture sticks? Is that what she believed? Narrating the whole, like, a documentary.
Has any interviewer scrutinised or questioned John's direction about making it
Nope.
documentary?
No. They're all fucking whores. Whenever you get, like, really corporate interviewers, it's like they want to be invited back to the next press screening and interview session, so they don't ask any real questions. They just ask about Beyonce. That's it. I mean, it doesn't look great. now. I'm sure it looked pretty good at the time. But at least there's like character and expression, right? Like that's the big thing. Like you can tell what characters are thinking. Still not as shitty as The Lion King 2019. Sorry, John. I love Tilda Swinton. I'm just trying to like get some good shots that like show emotion. And like every single one of these has some subtle emotion there. Like you can still have like a realistic looking lion. And not take away the idea of being able to tell what they're fucking thinking. Like there's emotion there. There's something. Like you can see, you can detect like a sadness, you know. It's not even like great. Doesn't even look like great or anything.
You know what you can actually see here? I am using so many different things in so many different ways, so many different colors, so many different orders. Like there's no real like order that I do this in. So in all honesty, like color, like just go for it. Don't be afraid. Don't be worried. Especially if you think you're using it badly, don't worry about it. You're probably not. I've seen some of your posts too. You're not using color badly at all. You're using color really well. You know, use it differently. If you want to use it more uniform, you gotta just give it a shot and, you know, practice and, you know, check out the right materials. That's really it. It's not too much to it.
I'd probably shake his hand and congratulate him on his accomplishments and his success. What? Do you think I'm like some kind of a fucking asshole? Like that I would just start berating him about the Lion King?
I don't know you, man.
I don't know you, man. Yeah, well, if I was that much of an asshole, I would have been fucking canceled or something at this point.
So I'm taking my
Like, why
daughter to
wouldn't I?
see
If I were to meet Jon Favreau, I'd be like, dude, you like created your Iron Man film is responsible for like the entire Marvel thing. Even though I don't like Marvel or whatever, I wouldn't say that part. But like, clearly he's got like a bunch of accomplishments, right? Like, I'm not an asshole. He's a respectable person, and he seems like a nice guy. I don't think he's a bad person. I just like I get really worked up about this movie.
That's okay. Don't worry about talking.
And he doesn't understand it. He had terrible ideas, and he made a fucking awful, cringe movie.
Digital.
Explain why I hate it so much.
Digital is definitely nice for experimentation. It's all like learning curves, you know. Like it's a little freaky. It's a little freaky to learn things. That's okay.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
I still have difficulty sometimes learning what the fuck's going on.
Fucking Elvis is. Like a furry 100% animated that and got away with it. Like it's so disturbing. Yeah, it's like.
But just give it a shot. Try it. Just go for it.
You're like, I want to make it feel like a documentary, and yet you're literally doing a remake, almost shot for shot, of a film that was never attempting to look like a documentary. You can't have it both ways. Like, why are you trying to make it something that it's not? Like, even the newest version is not. Even the movie you made was not what you tried to make it. It doesn't feel like a documentary. It just like you can't tell that that's the case unless you listen to him behind the scenes. Like he has to explain it.
Oh, if you're not into digital, I mean, don't ever force yourself to try and be into digital.
It doesn't feel
You know,
like
some things you're not gonna like. I never necessarily got really into painting. I've tried painting,
it's just it looks shot for shot.
and I just never, I never connected with it. So it's, and I'm always gonna like have a point where I'm like, oh, I'll try it again and I'll do this again. But like it's, But how I get detail, I mean, like, what do you mean, like, So how do you make the line art detail after you do your sketch? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that specifically? Because I can maybe answer, and maybe I won't know myself. Sometimes that happens.
Make the right choice.
These instances. So, what the fuck, John? Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 shots I can think of in this film that deviate from the original that look like documentary shots. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter. Like, it's such a weird goal. It doesn't make any sense. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That's crazy. So I recorded this line about the music on the first run through. It was about like at the 5-minute mark, not even. And then because of how many clips I've added in of the film and the documentary shit, and because
When I
of how
sketch
much
before
extra that
line
I
art,
put into this part,
my drawing looks
it is
flat
not the
and
20
bad,
mark.
but when I do pen, it looks
That's
a lot
crazy.
better.
Yeah, I thought that
I mean, it might be just like you just know,
like I haven't
you just
even
know
really
that tool.
gotten
Because I mean, if it works
to
for you, cool.
the,
I
like, scene by
sketching helps me kind of get an idea of where to put the lines, and
probably be like an accident, but, like,
and it gets me thinking about if I should change anything, you know, because like once a line's down, you know, there's no going back. And for me, a lot of times, like, I'll have new thoughts as I go. You know, it's just learning your own process. You know, for me, I learned, I was like, oh, I need to, you know, sketch this stuff out and be good. And when I sketch too, like, I sketch it out, it comes out messy. I do a first, like, kind of pen line down, like, kind of with, like, an 05 micron. Yeah, right there, an 05 micron. That helps. And when I do that, you know, it helps kind of like get just the structure down, and I erase all the pencil, keep that gone, and then I continue on from there. Which, if that's what you're looking for, I do erase the pencil. That's definitely something I do. Because then I'll, like, you know, as I erase, if it like fades any of the other lines, like right here, I forgot to erase. Look at that. I caught that. Where's my eraser? Oh, it's in here. So yeah, it's just about like really, you know, just getting the eraser and boom. And you see the ink's still in there, and you know, if it fades a bit, that's okay, because we're gonna go over it with color, and we're gonna go over it with black markers and microns and all that good stuff in time. It's all part of the process.
And so, yeah, like around here, and this is like the half-hour mark at this point from like me recording it, and it might turn into the 35-minute mark once I add more clips here. And around here is when I start talking about, is when like Zazu enters the story in the cave. And that's not to suggest that the entire review will be as like meaty as this whole first part where I'm explaining things, but like, yeah, this might be another 2-hour video. Why is there a butthole on Simba? I don't understand. Why is there a butthole on Simba if there's no like butthole or balls on like the older lions? Like, why would they even animate that? Like, seriously.
Get this whole hand in here.
Because I don't want to get Twitch banned, and this is just gross. Butthole. There's a butthole. This is a G-rated movie, by the way. PG or G. If any Twitch admin wants to ban me, I'm just letting you know that this was released by Disney, and it's a movie for kids, and it's PG. Just letting you know. Thank you for the subs. Yeah, why would they animate a butthole on him when they don't do that for any of the older lions? Like, why would you do that? There's no reason why a butthole has to be there. It's only for like a second. Nobody's gonna know. said there he is too. Good timing. Yeah, see, Nala doesn't have a butthole. Why does young Simba have a butthole if Nala doesn't have a butthole? Fucking... Just the adult characters don't have buttholes, but the kid character has a butthole. I don't think... Look, there's no butthole on fucking Pumbaa. It's not like I'm asking for there to be buttholes. I'm just confused why they would have a butthole on one character. Just one. So lame, these slow motion shots. What is with that fucking take there? Run, Pumbaa, run!
I'm definitely more partial to cool. I like my drawings to have a cooler effect.
The vocal performances are such shit.
There's definitely more. I definitely am more. A lot of times I get crazy, so it's like I don't even generally try to think of like what's warm and what's
Did you see the eyes move and how fake that
and
was?
what's cool. But I'm not too partial to. If I have to think of a taste, like my personal taste, I'm not too partial on the warmth, like warmer colors and warmer stuff.
Fucking outline.
I do like reds and stuff, but I mean like, if I'm like, let's say if I'm taking a photograph
And backlighting.
of my pieces, I am not into making my piece like I'm not into making the pictures of my pieces warmer. I like to make them cooler because it shows a bit more vibrancy, or at least it's more pleasant to look at. In my own personal belief, that's just me.
Remember that shot of Nala going, whoa! That's not here. Remember the facial expression here? This? That. Yeah, you can't get that in 2019. It's not possible. They're not on the right tempo. Yeah. There's a lot that's different and a lot that's worse. This is barely scratching the surface. Here's some bad ones. Oh, look at that terrible lighting. They look like they're all green screened into the movie. Do you see that? The kid kicks in Cool Cat's face. There's no way Eric Estrada was sober during that. There he is! He wanted to go. See, none of this makes any fucking sense. Who's they? Who's they? Love is where they are. That's a line in the song. Because the two singers of this song are Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, and Beyonce. Whereas in the original, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Simba and Nala were singing the song. Pretty sure there were other singers. There was like a kind of fourth wall singer. That's not Nala. There they are. Just for these lines. But how to make her see. And then they're not. There's like a whole chorus. and Nala singing this part. I can add. The butthole's gone. It's only in the other shot. Simba doesn't. Wait a.
I appreciate it, my man.
Character model?
You have a good night.
I didn't have a
Thank you
butthole.
for stopping in. I always appreciate it.
Grew a butthole
Thank you so much.
in like a couple scenes.
And I'll see you on the next.
Oh, that might actually be it. You can't fucking tell. You can't fucking tell which character's which. Oh, you're right. Oh no, now Simba's on the left. Okay, yeah, this is Simba. Simba, right? Yeah, this is Nala. This is Simba. And then Nala moves to the left, and then now this is Nala, this is Simba. He's not, like, not even fucking other dude who's, like, supposed to be a Broadway guy. Not even he is, like, on key.
When he was a young warthog.
They're not on key.
When he was a young ward.
After 30 days, I could not believe my before and after picture. I literally rolled back the hands of time 10 years. When I first saw this product, I thought it looked kind of crazy. Didn't really understand what the benefit.
They're fucking terrible.
When he was a young warthog.
The notes are not, like, the notes are just not accurate.
When I was a young
It's so bad.
When he was a young warthog. When I was a young
There's no point. There's no point of having all those instruments, even. So let's actually look at the waveforms in comparison here. Because I'm actually curious about that, because the mixing is just so good. Look at this. Look at the waveforms here when the lead vocalist comes in. Really not all that different. Like, there's like a slight progression here, right? She's like a part of the song, right? She's complementary to the song. Whereas here, look at how low the song is, and then look at how high the waveforms are for the vocalist. So when the vocalist comes in, it's like she's not even a part of the song. The song is not even about the movie anymore. It's like about the singer. She's so much louder. Like the song's about the singer now. Like that's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be about the circle of light. It's supposed to be about the movie. It's supposed to be about the environment, not about the singer. Like why would they do that? Doesn't sound like she's a part of it. Sounds like she's like the focus. And it's like I don't want to be thinking about the singer. I want to be thinking about the world. John, man, it's like there's so much wrong with the movie. There's so much wrong with it, and like I have to like avoid the temptation of breaking down each song and like each fucking note in a way that would make the video like 5 hours long. It's like the psychological association with like so if we look at like something as simple as maybe this will make it into the highlights. Maybe this will be my way of being able to explain it without doing this in the video. So this line. If we compare this line. That's one that pisses me off, right? So obviously in the original, listen to the difference. So throughout the remake, they're making these tiny little changes. So it went from "There's more to see than can ever be seen." It went from that to "than can ever be seen" for no reason. But like the psychological association, so this is like the beginning of the film. This is the beginning of the movie. And when you have like a buildup of music, there's like a logical progression. What is happening in the music here is it starts out at a very, very low point in the register. Right? When kings step into the sun. And then, as it moves on to this part of the song and there's a change in the chord, right? There's a change in the chord, the lyrics, the vocals, go higher in the register. More to see than can ever be seen. And then it leads into more to do than can ever be done. Right? There's a natural progression to how the notes get higher. The expectation, because it goes like more to see than can ever be seen, right? That's one note higher, and then after the chord, after it goes into the new chord, now we're getting the higher notes, right? There's a logical progression to this. And then it kind of gets ruined, and I know this almost seems like nitpicking, but it's very important to me. It's like, then can ever be seen. You've spoiled the next note before it's supposed to happen. It's not supposed to get that high yet, because it's not a logical, like, climbing up. You just went too high. You went too high before you were supposed to. And so it doesn't have the same emotional resonance or impact. It's such a stupid change. Like, it doesn't have the same build-up. It doesn't have the same build-up at all. Because the note that's being sang here, beep, that note right there is as high as it gets in the next chord. So you've already done the highest note before you've gotten to where it matters that you should. Ever beep. I guess there's technically one note higher, but still. It kind of spoils it. Kind of spoils the experience, if that makes sense. I mean, there's much more wrong with the song than just that one note, that's for sure. But it changes like, that is such an important part of the song. That's right at the beginning. That's the build-up. That's the build, that's one of the most important parts of the song. Right? To crescendo, crescendo is the wrong word, I guess, musically, but to build up in that way. Like, I don't have like the largest vocabulary when it comes to music. Most of what I do is just like in my head, and so sometimes it's difficult to communicate exactly what I'm trying to say in terms that are used by composers and industry people. Like, sometimes I literally just have the wrong definitions for words, but what I'm trying to get at is there for sure, you know? Dude, Pride Rock! Oh my god, the audio's so bad. Oh! Just like, you forget how bad it is, and then you just listen to the original. Oh, fuck. Where's the atmosphere? Where'd it go? Where'd the fucking atmosphere go? It's like, it's such a fucking bullshit, modernistic, slimy, manipulative fucking approach. It's so stupid, because they compensate for the lack of, like, passion and choice in the sound design. They compensate by making it more 3D. So they, like, hard pan the birds to make it be like, whoa, they're, like, really moving around, dude. And that's about it. Whereas, like, all the sound design that makes it impactful is fucking gone. It's so fucking lame. You feel it. There's like nothing there. You don't know why. John, you don't even understand why the movie's good. It's so embarrassing. And it doesn't look like a documentary. So even if we go by like your supposed goal of the film, you didn't succeed, John. Your idea was bad. The idea for what you wanted the film to be like was bad. But you didn't even succeed at that. You didn't even do that. It doesn't look like a documentary. At no point, I mean, there's like maybe a couple shots where it's like, oh, that's kind of like a documentary shot. But the film doesn't feel like a documentary. Like, you don't know that it's trying to be unless you look at the behind the scenes footage and hear him explain it. Whereas Surf's Up, it's pretty fucking obvious it's trying to be a documentary-mockumentary style. Right?
We've always put safety first.
John, no one knows that you were trying to make a documentary look. Nobody knows that unless they've heard you say it. You failed. You failed at what you tried to do. You suck. You're a hack.
Adam sounds like my dad right now.
I sound like your dad right now? What, does he think you suck and that you're a hack?
It's also hard to make something look like a documentary if you're also trying to go for a one-to-one shot remake of a movie that isn't a documentary.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mentioned this in the review too. Like, how can you want something to look like a documentary when you're essentially creating a shot-for-shot remake of a movie that was never trying to be a documentary? That's conflicting. Like, you should start from the beginning by having a film that's attempting to be a documentary, not remaking a film that was never trying to be that and then pretending that that's what you're doing now.
Dude, Rafiki! Rafiki is good. That was sick, dude! Wow. Dude, Pride rock! He's living, my child.
This is so stupid. This is so bad.
Wow. Dude, Pride rock! He's living, my...
Wow. Dude, Pride Rock! It's like parody. It's like it can't even possibly be real. It's like it can't possibly be real. But it's real. Like, what is going on?
You consider this a live action film or not?
I didn't try to fix it. I just tried to perform it. So somebody with access to a bunch of like Disney press material, through whatever thing that they work through, found my email and then sent me some press stuff from Disney. There are certain clips that are like isolated audio wise, so like the effect sounds only as like the Prince Ali clip, which is really funny. Literally just the effect sounds. That's hilarious. Yeah, and then like music only. And then vocals only, which is just gonna be a bunch of auto-tune.
Prince Ali, fabulous, he Ali Ababa. Show some respect, boy, genuflect. Down on one knee. Now try your best to stay calm. Brush up your Friday salam. Then come and meet
Wow. That vocal thing in the background. Wow. I never noticed that they did that. There's so many like sounds hidden in the background, you know?
Strongest in regular men, definitely. He's faced the galloping horse.
Where did I get this? Just some random person emailed it to me. That's why I was so confused.
With bad guys with swords. Who sent those fools to their lords? Right, Prince Ali. Fellas, he's got 75 golden camels. Now the ladies.
I'm just gonna, you know, pause every once in a while not to get copyright claim.
When it comes to exotic type Mac. When it comes.
That sounds so artificial when he says comes.
When it comes.
Oof. Sounds like a robot.
When it comes to exotic type mammals. Everybody help me out.
So auto-tuned. Okay, yeah, so apparently somebody sent me, they also sent like the Circle of Life. Find your role? Man, with these sound effects only ones, you can make like a dub. They should release a whole movie like this. People could make a dub with it. Just the vocals.
I'm gonna get one of those vultures one day. I'm gonna get one. I don't know why it's so important to you. I feel like it'll make me feel better. Oh no, it's a little lion. Well, then go check it out. What is it? It's not a lion, it's a furry bird. It looks like a lion.
So bad.
Let me get up closer. Excuse me. All right, let me. It's a lion! Run for your life! Move in! Wait, move in! It gets bigger. It's a little lion. It gets.
I hate this so much.
It's a little lion. It gets bigger.
The vocal delivery is just so stupid.
It's a little lion. It gets bigger.
The fucking the enunciation is just so off. The emphasis are on the like it's on the wrong word. It's so annoying.
I promise. I'll walk him every day. If he makes a little mess.
Is this John's first animated movie also? I guess it is.
Oh, wait. One day, when he's big and strong, on our side. I've got one of these on our side.
The vocal delivery sucks so bad.
One day, when he's big and strong, on our side. I've got
Like, what did you say?
on our side. On our side.
The other side.
On our side. I've got one of these on our side. Hear me out. Having a ferocious
It
lion.
sounds like they're doing like a script reading. It sounds like they're doing a read through at a table. It doesn't sound like this is like what they've rehearsed. Wine ting. One of those, it's like you know those videos where it's like without the music. It's like they just did that.
Documentary.
Yeah.
It's the circle of life, and it moves us all to despair and hope.
Wow. They just have that like weird clicking noise. What is that? I wonder if that's like in the original mix. Now that it's like isolated, I wonder if you can tell.
Lip smack.
I don't know if that's a lip. That sounds like she hit the microphone. I don't know if that's even a lip smack. No, it's drowned out.
Through fear and
microphone's peaking too. I wonder if it just drowned out. Yeah, you can kind of hear it. It's drowned out by the instruments, but like, wow, you can actually hear it. Ugh. You can't like notice it that. Wow. They didn't even set up their fucking audio properly. Jeez. Yeah, they like covered it up with sound effects. Did they like extend it digitally? They extended it digitally. That's why it sounds so weird. They extended it digitally. Wow. Oh, there's so much bullshit going on here. Wow. So that's why I don't know. Maybe that's why she's so not as like. The rest of the mix is like drowning her out at the end. Whereas like here, she's like way too fucking loud. That sounds so awful. Oh, it sounds so bad. Oh, that's an issue. Oh, they tried their best. You can. They tried their best to get rid of it. Wow. Makes it so much more noticeable when you isolate them. Wow. And then this at the end is just so stupid. Oh, it sounds so. Why? Like, just get another fucking take! You're Disney! You have so much money! They didn't put a single fuck. They didn't give a shit! They didn't give a shit about the music, it's so weird. It's so bad! And then just like the abrupt
Can you show the original for comparison?
of the original waveform, or the original like Lion King. It's like a real voice. Of life, not of life. Man, it's just like they don't give a shit about the music.
It's rewind time.
Basically, they pitch corrected the the note to the wrong key, basically. So that way that's the note it's supposed to be, is F sharp. But instead they pitch corrected it to a G. So you hear that? Where the key of the song is in F sharp. So like it would sound better. It's correct if it's in F sharp. You notice how the note of the song doesn't match that? The piano note that I'm playing matches the key of the song, but the note being sung was pitch corrected to the incorrect key. It was pitch corrected to a G and not an F sharp. So once more, this is correct on the piano. Whereas this is what's actually being sung in the song. See how that matches up with the vocal, but not the actual key of the song? That's what's wrong with it. And this is like a professionally produced multi-million-dollar musical that has the song already existing before it even started, and that's like literally just how fucking. It's literally just how. Yeah, it's literally just so fucking lazy and garbage that it's the wrong note in this fucking musical. Oh, dear.
Why was Zazu so far away?
Why is Zazu so far away? Because he apparently just doesn't talk to anybody between now and the end of the movie. Otherwise, they would have found out that Scar was lying when he said he couldn't make it to the gorge in time. So they threw him away. Zazu just decided to not talk to anybody. Just to not mention it. The shadow made it look like he had like a penis or something. I was just checking. Yeah, everybody has a fucking outline. Like it's like you might as well just be doing 2D at this point. You might as well just have like an actual outline in a 2D image. If every single character is gonna have like a sharp outline by this artificial lighting. Every character is like outlined. You might as well just be doing 2D. Like, so silly, John. It disgusts me to imagine the opening night showing where all these like Disney simps were invited to the premiere and Beyonce was there, and so even if they didn't like the movie, even if they couldn't convince themselves that the movie was good, they were still gonna cheer anyway because Beyonce's there and they want to make her happy, right? It disgusts me to just imagine an audience cheering for the accomplishment of this movie. Like, you did it, John. Like, it makes me feel gross. Like, where's the light source? If these characters are backlit, and then she's side lit, and he's backlit, like the light sources are just coming from like random fucking places. It's not natural. Now she's side lit, he's backlit. They just like, it's so random. You might as well be doing 2D animation if everybody's gonna get an outline. Like, it doesn't, it looks so fake. And what really pisses me off is like, doesn't this directly contradict, John, doesn't this directly contradict your excuse for not wanting to have good-looking skies in the movie, saying like, yeah, whenever I see a movie with beautiful skies, I think that's a little too lucky for real photography. And yet you just put in like artificial lighting from sources that don't actually exist in real life, that would be impossible to achieve from real photography. Literally impossible to achieve from real photography. Like, all of these characters being outlined in all of these like big scenes with all of them like running around. Like, I'm sorry, you can't. You can't do that from real photography, John. So where's your consistency? And the light source changes as soon as the cut happens. It's like, yeah, you can change light sources between angles in real life, that's for sure. But the implication here is that it's natural lighting. I don't think you'd be able to achieve this from like a studio light set. This is like incredibly artificial here. Like, none of this looks real, John. It's so contradictory to like what you claim is like your idea for the film and how you approach it. Every character has like a big fucking outline, either being side lit or backlit, and it's just so unnatural and so stupid. Like, where's this fucking light coming from? In what way would these lionesses be outlined from the light source that wouldn't also outline something like this bush right here? Should we not also see some sort of light outline on this bush and on all the different grass and on all the rocks? Where's the light coming from that it would be doing that to the lions and nobody else? That's why it looks like they're not a part of the environment. That's why it looks like they're green screened into the fucking movie, is because the light sources aren't even consistent. They're just applied specifically to certain characters, and that's it. Just the characters, not the environment. It doesn't make sense. It's not realistic, John. It's not realistic. It doesn't look like a documentary. Like, they're backlit again, but they were just backlit from when they were looking this way from the side. So, like... Yeah, like, what sucks about this review is that there's just so much wrong with the movie. And, like, I think that so much of this, like, deserves a proper explanation in terms of, like, the aesthetic choices that are made. But it winds up making things so that, like, I'm spending so long on just, like, tiny parts of the video, hitting their footsteps from. Do I like Hans? Yeah, I do. I love his work on the original Lion King. I think that a lot of his scores are, like, fucking fantastic. But what would I do if somebody who looked like and sounded just like me walked up to me and said, "Hi, I'm the real you," then we'd fuck. What if the other me doesn't want to fuck, then it's not the real me. Finished?
Also, Hans Zimmer wanted an opportunity to really get in there and finish it because
It just seems so slimy when he says it. Just like, the original soundtrack wasn't finished. You wanted to finish it. What are you talking about? Fucking marketing bullshit. It seems so slimy. It's like he has to know he's lying, right? It's so slimy. I'm really getting the impression that Hans just doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about anymore. Maybe you should lay off the booze for a bit.
Well, Lebo is, Lebo is my original inspiration. I mean, people don't really, now it seems normal, but back in the day, when we did the original one, they were saying, what I would love to do is to start with a completely African voice.
I think this music does work. People are saying it didn't, but...
I think of Tony as he thinks I'm his big brother, but I don't think of him as my little brother, and he makes sure we serve the task properly.
About anymore. Maybe you should lay off the booze for a bit.
Well,
That's such good animation with his, like, pause here. In this newest film, look at that. Look at those big little newest pause. Look at the shadows too. Look at the shadow and like his palm. In this newest, like, that's pretty good. In this newest film, his character. Yeah, like, notice how much longer this clip is. Everything in this movie just takes the whole the new Lion King's like half an hour longer. Somehow. I don't know what he's doing. It's so stupid. Why would they, like, they fucked up Rafiki so bad too. I guess I still stand by Scar being the most butchered, but Rafiki.
Summer ends soon, and so does our Labor Day sale. Shirts are $4.
Rafiki's pretty fucking close. Rafiki's up there. Why does the lighting just look so bad? Like, the lighting and the color correction in some of these scenes. Where it's like, it's supposed to be overcast, I guess? It just looks so unnatural.
I honestly don't know.
He doesn't sound, like, scared or anything. Like, he's so annoying. John Oliver is like, "Don't look at me that way, help!" Right? Whereas, like, John Oliver is just like... Rowan Atkinson was the other way, is what I meant. I think I accidentally said John Oliver. No, don't look at me like that. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I know, they spell out everything. They make everything so much more obvious, which is weird, because, like, it's... With the original Lion King being the most successful animated movie ever before this one, you would think that they would understand that, like, the extra information isn't necessary. Because it wasn't, and the first movie was successful. It wasn't necessary for the first movie. Why do you have to make it stupider? Why do you have to make it more stupid? What do you think?
Yeah, I look forward to seeing it. They haven't approached me yet. I don't know who else will play Scar. Maybe some whippersnapper.
In the original... Yeah, and it's so funny, because this is like a recent interview. He sounds like he could easily play the character again. James Earl Jones, no. James Earl Jones, his voice is like dying. But Jeremy Irons sounds the same.
You know, and he makes sure we...
He sounds like Scar still. Blah 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 blah. Hothead. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Hothead.
That handle.
Like you can see like their relationship in the facial expression that shows up right here. He's like, come on, Scott. Like, he's like, oh, we're going through this shit again. Like, you can tell what the character's relationship is through the facial expression here. Right? Like, he's like annoyed. He doesn't like look at him as like a psychopathic killer. He's like, fuck off, Scar. God. He's like just annoyed by him, you know?
Attacked by a beetle. Go back to your den, Simba. I don't babysit.
Babysit? I'm gonna be the king of Pride Rock.
Like, why would Simba even like go up to him in this one? Like, there's no relationship here. They don't have, like, in the original film, it's so obvious. Like, Scar pretends to like Simba. He acts civil around Simba. He's like sarcastic all the time in a way that only he will understand, but Simba won't. Right? Whereas, like, Scar in this film is just so very obviously disrespectful towards Simba. Like, there's no illusion there. There's no manipulation. It's literally just on the nose. So it's like, well, why is Simba even here? Why is he even hanging out with him? Like, the guy clearly doesn't fucking like you. He just said, go away. Like...
Is that so?
Think about it. When I'm king, I'll have to give you orders. Tell you what to do. How weird is that?
How weird is that? What a fucking awful line. How weird is that? What a terrible line.
You've no idea. So your dad showed you the Hulk?
Fucking God, it's so bad.
Think about it. When I'm king, I'll have to give you orders. Tell you what to do. How weird is that?
You've no idea.
Kill him now. Just fucking murder him right now.
London Northern Border.
No. But I can't go there. Ever.
And he's absolutely right.
What the fuck? It's like, why? Why?
And he's absolutely
It's like leans in like he's about to fucking bite him. Like, what the hell? Why is anybody leaving Simba alone with this guy?
An elephant graveyard is no...
He doesn't even pretend to like him. Why are they hanging out? There's no manipulation here. There's no illusion.
Elephant graveyard? Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Think graveyard? Whoa.
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 It's like you can... It's one of those things where, like, you can tell even without seeing the actor's performance if they're like smiling, you know, like there are lines that people are saying that people can say where you're like they were smiling when they were in the vocal booth or whatever. Like you could tell they were doing it. With this, I just see J.D. McCreary going, "Wow." That's it. Wow. That's all I see.
Have fun, son. All right.
Well, I suppose you'd have found out sooner or later, you being king and all. And remember, it's our little secret. Don't let yourself.
He's just an incel. He's literally just a fucking incel. It's just so stupid. Like, so transparent. Everything interesting is just gone. It's not interesting anymore. Oh my god.
She's having the ass.
And it's time for you.
How come she's not licking Nala's butt like the original? How come she's not licking her ass? Remember? Yeah, what the fuck? How can we... Where'd this go? Okay. We're done with that. This is a funny frame though. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. I mean, yeah, like, if every frame of that film was approved by the MPAA as being PG, then you can't ban me on Twitch. Yeah, every frame of painting. Technically, with this, the original film, every frame is a painting. Or a drawing, anyway. You have one perfect shot. Somebody could submit that to the one not so perfect shot. Twitter. Tuesday, innit? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, innit? Disgusting tweet. Interesting that the original soundtrack was unfinished.
Also, Hans Zimmer wanted an opportunity to really get in there and finish it because the original, it was something where they had a schedule and a budget. And so when they came together to do this, Hans was like, let me really get in there and fill out the orchestra in the way that I didn't have the opportunity to do before.
He always wanted the songs to be. It's like, did the new movie not have a schedule and a budget? Like, fuck. I haven't even like talked about Beyonce in this. We're like 35 minutes in. It's gonna be 45 minutes by the time I'm going through all the audio I've recorded so far. I haven't even started on Beyonce. This review is gonna be like at least an hour and a half.
I'll forward. Well, I suppose you'd have found out sooner or later, you being king and all.
Like, what the fuck? It's so on the nose.
You had a come to Black Jesus moment.
If you were me, what would you do?
Like, what is your intention?
I'm guessing they assumed everyone watched this movie already knows that Scarlet raised them and they didn't even bother.
I know, like, that's what's so stupid about it. Full of you attitude. The movie is, like, dependent on the original stuff. Like, they change things in ways where, like, you can't possibly have the proper context or emotions unless you've seen the original film. It's so bizarre. It doesn't stand on its own. And at that point, it's like, why even make this bullshit? Whatever happened to the fade? Just hard cut. Like, why'd you do that? fade's not realistic enough, John? Like what? I'm trying to get this out for September at the moment. Before my ETA was this month, but I don't know. This video is probably going to be like an hour and a half long, so I would say September.
The artist today like to the Nike, a part of a great succession of dreams who create daily animated films. Who knows? Maybe a young boy or girl who sees film
You don't. Maybe a young boy or girl will see this film and be inspired by a dream of their own. It's created some dreams for me. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe a young boy or girl will see this film and be inspired by a dream of their own, and some great and future achievement.
Wasn't a dream of live. Live action gargoyles? That'd be weird. That's a Disney property, right? Disney's Gargoyles? Oh, it's happening? Gal Gadot's in it? Oh no. I'm wondering how bad they can fuck up the character designs. Are they just gonna look like actual, like, statues? Like, what are they gonna do? Yeah, get Jon Favreau to make it like a documentary.
Turn your back on me, Star.
I like how he said, he doesn't say don't turn your back, just the way it's cut. Turn your back on me, Scar. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
102, take 2.
Well, Lion King is an odd one because it never stopped. It wasn't just.
Hey, oh, cool shirt, bro. Yeah, you too, Eric. Where'd you get yours?
Should we tell Ejiofor?
Let me explain. I was trying to fool him. We will rule together. Mufasa and Simba are gone, which means I.
That's so embarrassing.
And then James Earl Jones coming back as Mufasa.
Simba, come to me. You can do it.
That sounds great from over here.
So bad. It's so embarrassing, and it's just like,
You can do it.
this film is truly testing the limits of like just how much corporate bullshit you can paint over something so that they don't notice how bad it is. Really. That's what's going on here.
You can do it.
That sounds great from over here. Perfect. Coming back as Mufasa.
Simba, come to me. You can do it.
That sounds great from over here. Perfect.
Perfect.
Two is the one role where
At no point does he even pretend. It's all the same thing. Like you see like one after the other, just the 3 shots in a row. It's like all the fucking same. It's so bad. It's so bad. Overbearing. And it takes so long to say everything. 48 seconds.
This gorge is where all lions come to find their roar.
All lions? Even my dad?
I hate that they added this stupid bullshit. Like, it was a part of his plan the whole time to make him think that his roar did it. That's it. Like, fuck off.
Simba,
Simba!
Simba.
What a goofball! What a goober! Simba! Simba! Oh, not again, Simba!
Simba. Simba.
Compared, like, let's compare this for a second. I mean, I'm going to in the review, but, like, it's just so fucking night and day. Like,
Simba's down there. Simba.
the facial expression adds a lot. Really.
Stampede in the gorge. Simba's down there. Simba.
It's not Simba.
You took the ceremony this morning. I answered no.
Stop. Stop.
It's like the music like removes the atmosphere. It's so weird. Oh.
Flip my mind.
This first line that shows up, like Zazu's first line in the original is like, "Did your mother ever tell you not to play with your food?" Right? And then this first line, "The king approaches, you will rot." It's like one of these lines establishes a relationship between these characters, and one of them does not. The 94 version, it's clear that they know each other. Zazu's clearly familiar with this character, right? They've met before. In this one, it's like, we don't know that. The king approaches! Like we don't know if they've ever met. There's like no established relationship, they just removed it. This is like that photo of the dog that gets hit by the frisbee in this frame here. Animation's funny.
I had a cousin who thought it was a woodpecker. He slammed his head into trees, and our beaks aren't built for it. He was concussed.
The pacing of that joke was really bad.
Yeah, the pacing of all the fucking lines in this movie is just fucking awful. It's just... They try so hard. They try so hard for the, like, whole quirky comedy thing, especially John Oliver's lines. It's so annoying. It is very, also, like, the comedy in this movie is also reminiscent of, like, Marvel movies. The way that they, like, stop things to be like, oh, this is... We'll have some audience laughter. It's like very clearly supposed to be a silly moment sort of thing.
John Oliver. I don't. He was born to play Zazu.
Yeah, my belly feels great.
That guy who says John Oliver was born to play Zazu looks like he has a gun to his head.
Well, he's like...
That whole time.
He like stops in the middle of his sentence like he was about to say something else. Like, Fishman?
John Oliver. I don't. He was born to. I don't.
Man.
John Oliver. I don't.
Kanye and Beyonce are just in a really long argument. Kanye is like, Jesus is king, and Beyonce is like, no, black is king. Do I like John Oliver outside this movie? No. I don't. Just because he's also left-leaning, supposedly. Like, he's not funny.
Don't worry about paying me. Worry about...
Late-night talk shows fucking suck with no audience. I mean, they sucked before, but it's just so much more obvious now. Holy shit. They're, like, unwatchable. Who watches it? Is YouTube, like, inflating the views? I know that's incredibly conspiratorial and not true, probably, but... Like, who watches that, is what I'm trying to say. Like... Just boomers? Fucking boomers!
You see, I always wanted to be president, and my friend Milburn said that...
Yeah, I mean, like, he's an actual character actor. Like, and then they just replaced him with talk show host. Like, what the fuck? Seriously. Yeah, this is worse than I thought. The animation doesn't even look good. Like... What is going on? It looks so fake. The shot sucks. The shot actually fucking sucks. Look at how bad this, like, pretend glare lighting is. That's so funny that, like, the Japanese, that complaint I have about what I meant was, like, that's clearly not in the, I wonder if I could find, like, the other ones, the other languages. I'm gonna get copyright claim for this, for sure. And they hit the right note, too! The Japanese one's so much better! Oh no! They didn't auto-tune to the wrong note. Then why did they put more effort into the English one? What the fuck? It's like even the French actors putting more effort into it than then what the fuck? Then Chiwetel Ejiofor. What does Mufasa sound like? We. None of the other voice actors does it the way John Oliver does it. None of the. I mean, now what did the Spanish one do now? They all realized it was stupid. I guess because he's not on screen, like they don't have to sync it. So that like there's like a back and forth like they're supposed to be. None of them hit that part great, but I mean they don't tune it to the wrong note like the English version. These other voice cast people for Simba when they sing, like they're actually performing it. That's my biggest issue I have with J.D. McCreary's singing, and also the singing of all the other cast members, let's be honest. But like, they don't perform it. They sing it, but they don't perform it. Or as Hans would say, perform it. Like, they're concerned about singing the notes, but they're not concerned about like acting as the character as they're singing the notes. And that's one of the biggest differences between the songs and the singing in the original and the remake. Is like they don't perform the notes. But in these other voice tracks it sounds like they do. Like you can hear the excitement in the performance. That is something that is important for this track. Is to be able to hear the excitement in the character as they perform it, not just I'm singing the notes. Yeah, the Spanish one not so much. The French one had it down. The French one you could hear the actual performance. They were actually performing it. And then the English one is like the worst one. And you can't even hear him. Like you can tell by the way that he sings that in the recording booth he's like relaxed. Like, just can't wait to be king. He's like fucking bored as he's doing it. Right? He's not the character isn't excited. J.D. McCreary can't fucking act. I'm sorry, little boy. I'm sorry, little child. But you can't act. You're a singer. You're trying to act, you can't. I love French. That was a better, like, I mean, it's still not good. That was a better no than J.D. McCreary. That one, not so great. So the French one's not bad. The French one's the best audio track here. And then, obviously, as we've all seen and laughed at, the English one. What I am just now realizing, and I'm willing to fucking bet money on this. I'm willing to bet money on this. That take from J.D. McCreary, that, I'm willing to fucking bet money that was the result of, like, several attempts to get him to actually scream, but he just couldn't come out of his shell enough as an actor. Which, I mean, not trying to bully a little kid, he shouldn't have been cast in the role if he can't act. That's the adult's fault, right? I'm willing to bet that was, like, their compromise. Of them being like, no, he just like scream, let it all out, and he's like, no, no, and then finally they were like, well, just do high pitched or something. That's exactly what it seems like to me at this point. Because you can't get that otherwise. You can't. No performance where someone's like actually getting rid of their ego and trying results in this. It's not possible. It's not possible. That's exactly what happened. That's my interpretation. You surprised?
Wow. Dude, Pride rock!
his face here. It's a good meme. Like, wow. Whoa. Pride Rock is in the movie. I don't understand. I get it, they're on the React channel and they wouldn't be there if they didn't like over exaggerate everything they're fucking doing, but like that's so weird.
No, son, you stay with the other girls.
And this is their promo material. This is their promo material, and this is like, ignore the "Let Me Come" line. Ignore that. This is their promo material, and this is the James Earl Jones that they're selling here.
No, son, you stay with the other girls.
Like he's ancient. You can hear it.
James Earl Jones back to this. Was there any temptation to bring anyone else back to the original? Was it important to kind of, apart from that, to kind of detach yourself from
Yeah, I'd be
what
sad.
had come before?
I'd sad.
Look at how fucking nervous he gets with his ear. Immediately, it's like, why didn't you bring anyone else back? He's like, ah! Ah! Like,
Was there any temptation to bring anyone else back to the original? Was it important to kind of, from that, to kind of detach yourself from
Yeah, I'd be
what
sad.
had come before?
I'd sad.
it's so silly. This whole thing is just so stupid. I can't believe anybody likes this movie. I don't think that they actually do. I'm a person that like is wholeheartedly against the idea of discrediting other people's enjoyment or dislike of other films. But I don't think that anyone exists that truly loves the new Lion King that didn't see the original. I think that if they love it, like they might genuinely love it, but what they really love is the original film and being reminded of it. And that if they hadn't seen the original film, there would be nothing there. Like I want anyone to just find me one person that like watched the new Lion King and
It's all still out there. Say hello to the world again.
experienced all of the intended emotions from the film without having seen the original. Right? I'm just like, it's difficult for me to comprehend is what I'm saying. It's difficult to understand. I don't know how it's possible. There's so much of this film that's like entirely reliant on you having seen the original for you to be able to understand or experience the intended effect. You can't spell Nala without anal. Fuck, quit sending me links unless they're relevant to the review, because I gotta work. Fuck you! Jesus Christ, that was the worst possible one. Why didn't they get Jonathan Taylor Thomas again? Hey, Uncle Scar. Guess what?
I despise guessing games.
I think a lot of child actors fall off the map because their passions weren't really in that, and their parents just kind of forced them into it. Because some of these, like the point, I'll get to the point of like terrible line delivery. What I'm trying to communicate at the moment is just that he sounds way too old. Some of these are just poorly delivered regardless. so. Look at his dumb face! Simba! Like, he's not concerned at all. Simba!
I actually think his original is that a challenge sounds very similar to Scar.
Yeah, it was a weird performance. Simba! I can't, it's so funny to think about. Simba! It's so stupid! It's still so funny! It's so weird and out of place! I can't deal with it!
I'd only think you should blame the actors too much, even John Oliver. H has been a good actor in things like Rick and Morty and Community.
Rink?
If all the performers are doing a bad job, it seems like the problem was they weren't given any direction. Thanks you, WU.
Yeah, I do blame Jon Favreau more than anyone. But, I mean, most of the issues when I'm going through each of these actors one by one, my main issues are with the casting. And then beyond that, the concept of the character and what they tried to do with it, right? So even though there's the line, it doesn't seem like he even really tried to John Oliver. I mean, there's behind the scenes footage to back up my point of him saying shit like, yeah, I just have one voice, this is this loud and this soft. I mean, yeah, sure. Someone who is not a good character actor shouldn't be in that role, and it is the fault of the casting to place him in that role, but at the same time, it is still a legitimate criticism to say, hey, this guy is not a good character actor, right? So, I don't think I'm out of line. Like, why do we need this music cue? So lame, John. Ha! Oh my god, this shot. Oh my god! Never went frame by frame here. Oh! Vor time. Jesus. It's funny, like, they even add the line, like, he never even says, my big brother. He literally, Scar just says, like, I'm afraid I'm at the shallow end of the gene pool, and then Mufasa talks to Zazu, and in this one he's like, establish that you are my big brother, and that Simba is my nephew, and that he will be king, and that's why I am mad. It's so fucking obnoxious.
When it comes to brute strength, I'm afraid I'm at the shallow end of the gene pool. But when it comes to brute strength, I'm afraid my big brother will always, not always,
My big brother, like, as if anyone was confused watching the first film, the most successful animated film of all time until this one. Currently, the most successful 2D animated film of all time, I believe. As if anybody was confused, they throw in this extra bullshit.
One day, it'll be my son who rules. Simba will be your king.
My son, Simba, not always younger brother Scar, who just called me older brother. My son Simba will be the king. That's why you're upset. Yes, Scar, it is true that you are upset that you will not be. It's just so fuck. How can they possibly, like? Why would you decide to dumb the film down when it was already so successful? Nobody watched The Lion King 1994 and said, I didn't know what was going on. Like, why do you need to make it stupid? Fuck you! It's so dumb, John!
Now,
Yeah. Because, like, in the beginning section of the review, it's like, it's important to paint this picture. And I'm glad that I structured it this way. It's very, very much front-loaded with John and his explanation of, like, what he's doing. Which I think is, like, the most damning case when it comes to this movie. That, like, even people that enjoyed it are like, what, you literally just said
Alright,
that,
that's
like,
enough for today.
you're making the
Thanks
movie to
everybody who
remind
stopped in.
people of the old
Love ya.
movie? Like,